Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to Utility Sports. And we've got massive news in the NBA world. One of the final dominoes left from free agency has finally fallen. But before we jump into talking about that, giving my reaction and thoughts, I would urge you guys to hit that subscribe button and also leave a like on today's video if you are enjoying the NBA content. Now let's jump into what Adrian Wojnarowski from ESPN has tweeted and reported today. The Cleveland Cavaliers are acquiring Chicago's restricted free agent forward Lauri Markkanen on a 4-year, $67 million deal in a sign and trade, sources tell ESPN. So very, very massive domino. Lauri Markkanen, only 24 years old, hasn't really found his footing in the league quite yet in Chicago. He's been part of a coaching change. Billy Donovan didn't necessarily put the most trust into Lauri Markkanen in his offense. And he's kind of just really never lived up to the potential that it was really going to become at that point. And there's actually a massive overhaul here in what is going on. So let's actually go ahead and pull that up here on the screen as well. This is a live reaction here because we actually have the sign and trade information. I thought part of this was just going to be a big time trade exception, but it actually, according to Shams Charania, here is a 3-team deal. The Bulls, Cavaliers, and Blazers are close on a 3-team deal, sending Lauri Markkanen to Cleveland, Larry Nance Jr. to Portland, and Derrick Jones Jr. a first-round pick and additional draft compensation to the Chicago Bulls. So there is massive ramifications of this. The lottery pick, or the pick from Portland that's going to Chicago, is a lottery-protected first-round pick and is also a Cavs future second-round pick. So, and that's coming from Wojnarowski. I have the report here on my phone. I don't have it pulled up on screen for you guys. But big thing to unpack here. Let's start with Portland. They get Larry Nance Jr. They need to find a big man. They let Zach Collins walk. I don't believe, brought Enes Kanter back. So they need to find a quality rotational big man. And Larry Nance is a really good one to add. He's very solid defensively. Nice rim running option for you in the half court offensively. Can sit in the dunker spot. Provides really good athleticism to a team in Portland that I think needed a little bit more size and athleticism. He's an upgrade over Derrick Jones Jr., which is why they're making this move. The Chicago Bulls get Derrick Jones Jr., a first-round pick, and that Cleveland Cavaliers second-rounder. And this is important because if you are the Chicago Bulls, you've already seen a ton of first-round picks go out the door. You traded 2 for Nikola Vucevic. You ended up moving 1 in the deal for DeMar DeRozan. They don't have first-round picks that they can trade yet. So bringing in this first-round pick is actually huge. It gives you a lot of flexibility in trade discussions. I do believe that they'll actually get an $8 million trade exception from this as well, because Derrick Jones Jr. is on the mid-level exception at about $9 million. And Lauri Markkanen's near $17 million in his brand new contract. So they should get about $8.5 million trade exception. So the Bulls could use that pick to even bring in a nice player at the deadline if there's some guys out there that they're interested in. And they just need more assets, to be completely honest with you guys. The Chicago Bulls have done a really good job filling out their guards. I like their roster as a whole, but they need a little bit more depth and they need a little bit more flexibility for the future. This move does that for them on a guy that they weren't planning on bringing back in Lauri Markkanen, and he didn't want to be there. And now let's get to the big picture player here in this deal. That is, of course, Lauri Markkanen going to Cleveland. 4 years, $67 million is an annual average value of $16.75 million. And like I said, he just hasn't found his footing in the league yet. He's only 24 years old. He's basically the same age as Chris Duarte, who was just a lottery pick in this past draft. And Lauri Markkanen, I think he's a nice player, to be honest with you. That Portland pick is a protected 2023 first rounder. So very, very interesting there. But Lauri Markkanen here, nice player. Can fit at the power forward spot. Now, the surprising thing here is the Cavaliers have already given Jarrett Allen $100 million over 5 years. They just drafted Evan Mobley, 3rd overall. And now they add in another big man here with Lauri Markkanen. Now, of course, he's more of a true 4 than anything, but I think there should be some interest for them looking at a situation in which Lauri Markkanen probably plays the 4 and then Evan Mobley gets his feet wet playing the center spot. I think Evan Mobley's going to spend a lot of his rookie year probably playing that power forward position next to Jarrett Allen. But this way, when you have Lauri Markkanen in, you can kind of have a combination of lineups where you look at Lauri Markkanen can fit next to Jarrett Allen very, very well. Lauri Markkanen can play next to Evan Mobley in a very, very skill-based lineup. And then you can also have Evan Mobley next to Jarrett Allen himself. So I like this lineup flexibility for the Cavaliers. I'm actually surprised that they're the team that got involved here, but giving up Larry Nance really makes a lot of sense, honestly, because you're getting younger. And in my opinion, you're getting a lot better on the offensive end of the floor, which is where the Cavaliers need a lot of help still. I still don't think this is a move that puts them near the playoffs. I still think they're a bad team, but they're young. Lauri Markkanen, Jarrett Allen, and Evan Mobley. I like all three of those players. Now, if they could figure out their backcourt, they could be a very, very nice team a few years down the road. I don't think that they're near competing yet at this point, but at the end of the day, I think Lauri Markkanen is a nice addition for the squad. I like the Cavaliers getting Larry Nance Jr. I think he fits what they've needed. And then I also like the Bulls getting some flexibility and a trade exception from a deal where they weren't going to keep Lauri Markkanen. They didn't really have interest there anymore. Patrick Williams is the power forward of the future. And I like this quite a bit. For all three teams, and especially Lauri Markkanen, I didn't think that he was going to get a bigger contract like this. So I'm very happy to see him get pretty good money, honestly, out of his rookie deal. Out in restricted free agency, it's rare to see a player get that kind of deal. And of course, the Bulls here helped him get that kind of deal, facilitating a three-team trade. So they were definitely helpful to Lauri Markkanen in getting him his way out of Chicago. It took approximately 3 weeks to do it, actually 3.5 weeks or so. But Lauri Markkanen finally signs with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Let me know in the comment section what you think of this move. I like it for all three teams. I specifically like it for Lauri Markkanen himself. He got a nice payday. And I find it very interesting for Portland jumping in here and getting the upgrade at that power forward spot. I like this deal a lot for all three teams, to be honest. I think this is a very balanced trade across the league. I think Lauri Markkanen does help the Cavaliers' long-term outlook. So I'm very, very excited about that. Let me know in the comment section again what you think. Leave a like on today's video if you enjoyed, and we'll catch you in the very next Utility Sports video.